Hey guys, Jim Nix with Nomadic Pursuits, and I have another video. I did one recently called 5-Minute HDR, and I liked it. It was a lot of fun, and I'm going to do another one, so I need to get going because I have 5 minutes to do this, and I'm going to prove it can be done. I want to demystify HDR. I think some people think it's hard. It's not really. So I'm going to move, and I'm going to hit Ghost Reduction and Alignment because I shot this handheld. This is the harbor in Stonehaven, Scotland. It was a neat little place. I'd finished hiking out to an awesome castle, and I came back. I saw this scene, and I loved the. I just loved the look of it. It was just awesome. So I'm letting Aurora, my magic shop, as I like to call it, and I'm letting Aurora build the HDR. It's going to take it a minute because it's doing the deghosting. It's got to merge the exposures and do the tone mapping and all that. So it's cutting into my 5 minutes, but I'm trying to hurry. I'm also going to work some luminosity masks into this one. So if this will ever get built, I feel like my time is a ticking here. Come on, come on. All right, there we go. So there's the image. I'm going to reset everything. First thing I'm going to do is add a layer, and this is going to be a luminosity mask, and these take a second to build. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. If you haven't used a luminosity mask, they're a really powerful tool, and it's just incredible that it's built into Aurora. There's the mask. What it does is it allows you to apply effects based on luminosity values. So I'm going to go grab a preset. I'm going to grab dark light. And what I don't have time to show you in this video, but I will in a future one, is the difference between applying that preset normally versus as a on a luminosity mask. It's much different and much more subtle. So let me show you what we have so far. There's the original, and then here's the first layer with a luminosity mask. Now I'm going to go do the same thing. This is going to be another luminosity mask, and you can just see how quick this works. I don't know if you've used Photoshop and done luminosity masks, but it's not something I've spent a lot of time on. But now that I'm using it in Aurora, I find it to be super simple, super quick, super easy, and I'm about 1.5 minutes or 2 minutes in, I think, now. So I'm trying to watch the clock while this is processing, but I'm in a hurry. Okay, there we go. So the next preset I'm going to grab is called Vivid Memories. It's here in the Realistic HDR category, and it gives it a nice pop of color. But again, because of the luminosity mask, it's not going to be quite as intense, and it's going to be applied somewhat just across the luminance values in the image. So there you go. Let me show you where we came from. The previous slide, or layer, excuse me. Previous layer, and this one. There we go. And now I'm going to add another layer. This time I'm going to play with the details. I'm going to bump up the clarity, and I'm going to bump up the HDR look a little bit. I want to give that a little bit of punch, for lack of a better word. However, I don't want to give it that much, so I'm going to take the opacity of this layer down to about half, right? So something like that. What I wanted to do is bring up the details here, but not overwhelm the senses. And so I made the adjustments. They apply globally across the image. But then with the opacity slider built into each layer, you can just reduce the effect or increase it depending on what your mood is. So let me show you. There's the before, there's the after. It's a little bit more detailed. I do like it. And the last thing I'm going to do is add some denoise. So you just add a new layer. I'm going to come into the HDR denoise menu, and I'm going to say amount is going to go up. I'm just trying to bring up the softness of the water and the sky. And let me show you what's happened so far. There's the before denoise, and there's the after. It just softens all the details, basically starts to blur them. I like that look, but I don't want it on the whole photo. So I'm going to use the eraser because it's a smaller section I'm erasing it from, as opposed to the brush, which I normally use to paint an adjustment in. So I choose the eraser, I fix the opacity to 100, reduce the size, and I'm just going to remove that noise reduction from things like the rocks and the boats, because I want to keep the detail there. And I'm using left bracket key to shrink the size of this, and I'm just removing the mask from these little areas here. Let me show you. That should be about it. There we go. Let me show you the mask. There you go. You can see that the mask is applied across most of the image, and I just erased it from the parts I didn't want it in. And that's it, really, I'm done. So here's the before, and here's the after. And what did I do? I added 4 layers, 2 luminosity masks, I added some details, I added denoise, and it took me 5 minutes. That's it. That's 5-minute HDR. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.